everybody, and welcome to MMLS, where media matters. And we are here today to analyze the current issues influencing our society. So, we are evaluating the media context during the first year of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s administration today. I'm Riley de Guzman, and I'm thrilled to be joined by two of the expert guest speakers today, Ms. Destura and Mr. Kevin De La Cruz. Before we delve into our chosen arguments, let's gain valuable insights from our first guest speaker, Ms. Destura.
Thank you for having me. The media landscape under any administration is a critical lens through which we view the health of democracy. It is essential to consider the intricate dynamics at play: media consolidation, promises of transparency, and the safety of our journalists are interconnected facets that shape the narrative of our society. I look forward to delving deeper into these critical issues.
That's very insightful, Ms. Destura. Now, let's hear a brief perspective from our second guest speaker, Mr. De La Cruz.
Thank you, Ryle. The media is essential in influencing public opinion since it is a watchdog of democracy. By analyzing these claims, we may closely examine the unstable agreement that exists between the objectives of an independent and free media and the actions of the government. Since these problems are interrelated, thorough analysis is necessary, and I'm excited to add to our conversation on how the media has changed under President Marcos Jr. leadership.
So, those are very fantastic insights from both our esteemed guest speakers today. So, now let's delve into the intricacies of the media landscape under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s first year. Our focus will be on three critical arguments, and we'll begin with the issue of media consolidation by political allies. So, first question, Ms. Destura. As we explore media consolidation, what strikes you as the most significant concern or impact on journalistic independence?
The consolidation of media power, especially through figures like House Speaker Martin Romualdez, raises concern about diversity of voices. When political figures control significant outlets, there's a risk of bias and limited perspective. It is crucial to monitor how such consolidations impact the democratic discourse.
Absolutely. The article emphasizes Romualdez' growing influence over the media, especially after acquiring the previous frequency of the ZMM. This action gives political leaders command over important distribution channels, changing the story and possibly constraining viewpoints.
Indeed, and it's not just about the Romualdo case. It's a broader trend where political entities gain control over media platforms. This consolidation could lead to a reduction in variety of media voices, a key element for a healthy and vibrant democracy.
On the contrary, some might argue that this consolidation brings stability and streamline messaging. When media outlets are aligned with the government, it may ensure a cohesive narrative, facilitating effective communication of policies and initiatives.
While stability is crucial, we must also consider the potential drawbacks such as a loss of independent journalism. A diverse media landscape is essential for representing a wide range of perspectives, holding those in power accountable, and fostering a robust democratic discourse. Moving on to the second argument, Marcus's promise of transparency contrasts sharply with the reported restrictions on freedom of information. Despite the commitment to transparency, the article highlights instances where critical media face difficulties accessing information. So, Mr. De La Cruz, how do you interpret this apparent disconnect?
The gap between promises of transparency and reported restrictions on information is a red flag. It calls into question the right of citizens to access information and accountability. Transparency is a given in a democracy.
Ms. Destura, any considerations for why these reported restrictions might exist?
While we must give time for the administration to implement changes, any restriction on the freedom of information needs careful scrutiny. It's important to strike a balance between transparency and the government's transition phase. Although President Marcos Jr. has stated that he is committed to transparency, there seems to be an obstacle in a way for its actual implementation. It is in fact true that deeds speak louder than words, and it is concerning that the great invitations have been turned down along with additional freedom of information limitations when compared to the previous government. These decisions could make it more difficult for important media to obtain information.
Supporters of the government argue that these challenges are typical in a period of transition. They imply that fulfilling commitments requires time and that challenges at first are to be expected. Achieving a balance between allowing time for reforms to become operative and keeping the administration responsible for its promises is crucial.
That's a very valid point. However, maintaining transparency is fundamental to a thriving democracy. Citizens need access to information
Now
to
we
make
are
informed
down
decisions,
to our third
and any
and last.
restrictions should be carefully scrutinized to ensure they do not impede the public's right to know a nuanced perspective. Argument in which we are discussing the ongoing issue of red tagging and journalist killings. The numbers presented in the article indicate a concerning trend, with the Philippines ranking 7th in the CPJ's 2020 Impunity Index. Ms. Karen, what is your initial thoughts on the persistent issue of journalist killings?
To add more information with that, CMFR and NUJP recorded 75 attacks and chats against media workers from June 30, 2022 to April 30, 2023. 40 of the cases of intimidation include 31 cases of red tagging media members or news organizations and 8 surveillance cases. 10 cases of cyber libel and libel involved 2 arrests and 1 conviction. There were 2 killings during the period, Ray Blanco on September 18, 2022, and Percy Lapid on October 3, 2022. It is deeply troubling, despite expressions of concerns, delayed arrest, and alleged connections within law enforcement, question the effectiveness of these expressions. The safety of journalists is
How
paramount.
about you, Mr. De La Cruz? What is your perspective on the safety of journalists in this context?
It is crucial to protect journalist safety. One major worry is the continuing practice of red tagging and the postponement in making arrests. A democracy can only flourish when the media can function fearlessly. The Philippines rating of 7 in the CPJ's 2022 Impunity Index serves as an alarming sign of all the challenges that journalists encounter. The media should operate without fear, and the government needs to demonstrate a genuine commitment to ending impunity in media killings.
And it's not just about the safety of journalists, but also the broader state of democracy. Red tagging and delayed arrests suggest a concerning trend that requires urgent attention.
Absolutely. The media should not function without fear, and the government needs to demonstrate a commitment to ending impunity in media killings. So, in conclusion, the media landscape under Marcos Jr.'s first year is a mix of promises, actions, and concerning trends. It's a delicate balance between expressing support for the press freedom and the practical implementation of policies that safeguard it.
We recommend to the affected sectors of society to stay vigilant, hold the administration accountable for its promises, ensure that the media ownership remains diverse, and advocate for the protection of journalists and their freedom.
And that wraps up our podcast for today. Thank you for joining us in the Media Matter lecture series. Remember, the media's role is vital in any democracy, and it is up to all of us to ensure its independence and effectiveness. Stay informed, stay engaged, and see you again for the next episode of MMLS, where media matters.